Good evening, everyone. I hope you are all doing very well this evening. Now, let's get down to business, okay? So, you might notice there's only one of me. There's only one of me today, I'm afraid. For anyone who is disappointed, I completely understand. I'm just as disappointed as the rest of you. So, let's get into it. So it's going to be a bit more of a condensed show tonight. It's going to be a little bit more condensed than it usually is for obvious reasons. So let's hit with the news first. Everyone that's here, 16, 19 people watching, thank you for joining me. Now, let's get something out of the way. Obviously, there's only one of me. I think it's apparent to see. It's quite noticeable. You know, I think it'd be fair to say. So, a couple of bits of news. I'm not going to go into detail because it's more for him to explain the situation and the reasons as to why. Matt has officially left the Shills. So Matt will no longer be joining us on a Saturday night. Unfortunately, it was his decision. There's no bad blood before the rumor mill starts. I don't think we're popular enough to have a rumor mill about the Shills yet, to be fair. But before anybody speaks about anything in groups or wherever it may be between you, no bad blood there at all. It's just not for him anymore. And I understand we all have lives outside of the streaming stuff, and it's a big commitment to come every Saturday night for him, Saturday morning, and do the stream. It's a huge commitment, especially as it's 3 hours. Matt gets up at the crack of dawn to do the stream with us, and it can be quite tiring, and I completely understand that. Mandy, on the other hand, has got poor health at the moment, very poor health. Nothing serious, like she's just a bit poorly after coming back from holiday, so she's not here today either. So hopefully we'll see her back next week or the week after. But the show must go on. The show must go on. The farts must continue, because if they don't, then I'm letting you good people down, and that's not what we want. So let's see who we've got in the chat. We've got a few people here already. We've got Jorg live. I forgot the name again. I apologize. I should know your name. We've got Vita in the chat. We've got Jake. We've got Bailey. This is a new name. Gabari. I hope I said that correctly. Probably not. We've got Dream and Visions saying, hit the like button. Thank you very much, Dream and Visions. Good to have you back. Are you still in Thailand? Because I know last time we spoke, you were in Thailand and you weren't catching the stream because it was like silly o'clock for you. We have got, oh, hello, Dub Toys. We've got Hobie1 Kenobi saying, where is Mandy and Matt? I've just explained that, so hopefully you got that as well. Hey, we got you solo anyway. I'm glad someone's pleased, because a lot of people are probably going to click on the stream and go, oh, okay, X, bye. Yeah, sorry, Lane, that's it. I don't know how I always forget that. In all fairness, I have taken it upon myself to try and remember the names of people in my chat. But it's difficult. It's difficult. Bring on Will Fox and Ben Thomas. They're some big names. They are some big names, dude. We can't have those on the shelves. Oh, we have. Incredible. So for anyone that doesn't know, for anyone who missed it, I mean, if you're missing the Will Fox show, what are you doing? But I was on the Will Fox show last night, and it was fantastic. It was funny. Someone in the chat said, someone commented saying, David's been dreaming of this for a long time. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to deny it. I have. Will Fox was the guy, and I know I fanboy over Will Fox. It's no secret. But he was the guy that got me into this space. He inspired me to, make the channel with Matt and Mandy in the beginning, and obviously we made that as a three. And it's transformed into what it is today, and it's fantastic. And what we've built here is nothing short of incredible, and I'm so grateful for all of that. So again, thank you, Will, for the inspiration. Joe Stefan won't be here all night, just popping in to say hello. I appreciate it very much. I hope you're doing well, my friend. And we've got Deadpool Red Suit. So this guy, yes, correct in your statement there as well. Although Matt would tell you it is Matt with one T, so you're in trouble already there. This guy has gone through every single one of our streams and watched every single one. So have I got this here? Here we go. Let's give this guy an applause, because that's some dedication, and I really appreciate you going through all of that stuff. It's just fantastic. And here we go. This, for anyone that doesn't know, this is Matt. So yeah, again, no hard feelings there. But Matt will supply a video explaining, or a post in our Shillstream group, which if you're not part of the Shillstream, you should be, because it's a great group, right? So why the hell not? Oh God. Hey, seeing your beard makes me feel much better having shaving job this morning. Yeah, I keep getting compared to this famous guy now. I've got a beard. I can't remember his name for the sake of it. Yeah, I can't remember. We've got Jim. Who the hell invited this guy? Who the hell invited Jim? Hello, Jim. I hope you're well, my friend. So let's get on to some 6 scale chat. And I know you guys are probably bored of this. You're going to see this. I think, David, why are you showing us this bloody thing again? And I'm showing it to you because I'm excited. Okay, I'm very, very excited. So the Figure Hideout has got his hands on with the Pixel Poses Zorro figure, and I'm just going to play this video for you. And this thing looks absolutely phenomenal, and I couldn't be more excited for a figure. This is, I mean, this looks great. I sort of wanted it before the hand came in, but I failed dramatically. There we go. So we got all the accessories here. There's more, you get the deluxe space and the stands and all this sort of stuff, but this is basically what you're working with, which is a nice set again. I mean, 4 head sculpts. Name another figure. I can't name a figure since I started collecting that you got 4 head sculpts with. That's just not a thing. I can't even think of one where you've got, like, 2 is relatively common, but 3 or 4, it's pretty uncommon. So they're giving you every look here. Die-cast swords. They're not really flames, they're more like plasma, some sort of anime effect. Everything in this package just looks superb. I know the tailoring is relatively simple, but it does look phenomenal nonetheless. There's no real visible stitching, so it's hard to say that this is great tailoring, because no visible stitching. Stitching is usually what gives tailoring away when it comes to 1/6, right? But I just feel like this offering is not only great for One Piece fans, but it's great for everyone, because I wasn't a One Piece fan before this was announced, and now I'm addicted. Shout out, let me pause this just quickly. Shout out to Dean the Dream. That guy, in case you haven't heard me say it already, is a fucking animal. I didn't put him onto One Piece. He knew it existed, but he started watching it because we were chatting about it so much. I was on like episode 40 something when I recommended that he watched it. I'm now on 65. I've had a busy couple of weeks, so I've not had much time to watch it. That mofo is on like 250 something now, like 250 episodes in. Like, it's just absolutely insane. But this Pixel Poses stuff, and I've been looking at their statues a little bit, because I know they're a statue company as well. And this just screams to me of a company that put this together and they actually give a shit. And I think we see that few and far between with a lot of releases in the 1/6 world. And it just looks absolutely phenomenal. We've got Dagito in the chat. Hello, my friend. Here we go. I need to head off a little. I know you were going to go firing at Ripley from Aliens. Already PO'd the art, and I think it looks pretty good. I'm not going to fire off. I'm not firing off today. I think I just answered this, but I'm 60 something episodes in. Dean the Dream is 250 odd in. I think this is the sentiment that I've seen shared quite often. Because a lot of people aren't into the One Piece stuff, and I completely understand that. I know there's been many people that have tried it and it just couldn't get into it. But it's just, this is a release, and I've said it multiple times for a lot of figures. This is a release that sort of transcends the source material, and it just becomes like a piece of art. And I literally cannot wait to get this onto my shelf. And I have my fingers crossed, everything crossed, that this company goes the whole hog and does the whole crew, because I'd be incredibly disappointed if we imagine if they did everyone apart from Monkey D. Luffy. That would be horrible. And I think this is very here. This is something that I don't think we've seen very often, is a huge diorama base where it's like almost statuesque, because this, of course, is from a statue company. So this just looks absolutely phenomenal. I mean, if you, like I say, if you're not a fan of the anime itself, you can't help but appreciate the amount of effort, and getting two bases as well, one of which is relatively straightforward. Please put it on the diorama base. Thank you Figure Hideout. I mean, all I'm saying is Modgy Case, the whole crew, all with their diorama bases. I mean, you can't really argue with that. It's gonna look absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I've seen this. I'm not into the statues. I just can't have statues. I've got my display behind me, which can, I mean, if you can fit a display with 40 figures in it, I feel like you're doing quite well as a collector. I've got two over here. I've got a wall here. But statues, I saw some in Lisbon when I traveled there not too long ago, and they are amazing. Like some of the statues there, I don't think there was any One Piece stuff, but it just, all the stuff, it just looked phenomenal. And the anime statues, they really go hard with those things. They don't mess about. Where can I see the anime One Piece? It's on Netflix, dude. They have the majority of it anyway. And then if you can't get it all on Netflix, but then you can switch over to, like, I think it's called Crunchyroll, and you can watch it there as well. Zorro looks awesome. The display base is insane. It really is. Like, and I said it before, this looks like a release from a company that genuinely cares about this source material, and I'm just so excited for it. I love the lighted base, which I plan to use with Skeletor. I mean, this is a base that you can use for many characters. It just looks incredible. Whole show is randomly on BBC iPlayer for any folks in the UK. For any folks in the UK that pay a BBC license, you can, in fact, watch this on BBC iPlayer. We'll come back to this one. I have T800 Clean from Hot Toys. I've sold mine recently, actually. I have on order RoboCat and RoboCop from the second movie. I'm thinking of getting it for RoboCop versus Terminator. That would be cool. That would be very, very cool. Hope-One Kenobi said, rumors are they're doing Dragon Ball Z. Now that would be insane. I feel like if this company goes down the line of doing anime stuff, I feel like this would be like the InArt of anime, 150%. That, like, everything, well, what they're offering and their statues and this just looks phenomenal. I mean, you can't argue with it. You can't argue with it. I mean, we've said multiple times, right, that the source material is neither here nor there. It is one of those pieces that completely transcends that source, and just such bang for buck on this one. Right, what have we got in the chat? It does look really, really good. Jim would be in on a Super Saiyan Goku. I think, Jim, you should just watch One Piece and then just buy all the figures. I think that would probably be the best way to go. When do you think InArt drops legendary Gandalf the White? It feels like they've been cooking so hard. You know what? It's a great question. It's a great question. I wouldn't like to answer it, and I'll tell you for why. Because at the moment, I feel like InArt are really unpredictable. I thought for a while that I sort of had that company sussed, but it turns out, you know, we expect them to complete Lord of the Rings 1, which I believe they will. They will complete the Fellowship. Will was saying last night that he thinks the Hobbits are going to be sculpted, not rooted, and God, I hope he's wrong, because that would really suck, having everything rooted and just the Hobbits are sculpted. But you've got to have rooted feet, right, for the Hobbits. So yeah, it's not going to be real. Will, you're wrong. Sorry, but they're really unpredictable. Like, we've seen Gimli, which makes sense to complete that Fellowship lineup, right? And then they've gone for what is seemingly now 2 Pennywise, which no one saw coming, because the first one sold so poorly. You would have thought they'd had their fingers burnt then. They're probably not going to do another one, but they come out with not only one, but they've teased another one, which is just insanity. So I don't know. It's very, very odd. Like, I would have expected more of the Fellowship to be announced by the end of the year. Hopefully that still happens. But now we've got a Saruman tease. So it's like, I know he's in the Fellowship, but the Fellowship, I mean, like the Fellowship, you understand? So yeah, exactly. Like, they snuck Saruman out of thin air. So I don't know. And then we've got Man of Steel that's still up for not RSVP, but he's on the site all grayed out and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know. With the Pennywise announcement, who knows what they're cooking up? Exactly that, Bailey. Exactly that. Sideshow carrying this brand for now until Hot Toys gets them blocked from global distribution. Is this the? Oh, so no, sorry, that Sideshow are carrying the brand. Right, I'm with you. Sorry, I got that wrong for a second. Until Hot Toys gets them blocked from global distribution. I hope not. I really hope not, because can you imagine? Hot Toys do not have the capacity to start competing with something like Pixel Poses, because that Pixel Poses just looks phenomenal, and Hot Toys just can't. They can't match it. They can't match it. So anyway, thank you for that, chat, guys. I literally cannot wait. I literally cannot wait. I'm so excited for that to come out. It's that's going to be a good day when that one drops. So up next, when it loads, of course, you will notice here we've got some brands on the screen. And let me close it, because I was going to share the screen instead, but I'm going to share this picture here. Now, I'm sure there's a brand on screen right this second that you feel some kind of association with, right? I mean, a lot of us, and sorry, this is AI slop. I just want to put that out because the InArt logo is completely wrong before someone calls it out. I was just being very lazy. Yes, this, exactly. Do not sleep on it. If you really like it, don't sleep on it. So the question is here, and I can I put this on the screen here? I can. Can disagreements over brands, whether that be Hot Toys, InArt, third-party companies, etc., can they stay healthy, or do they always inevitably go down that rabbit hole of just being completely tribal? Now, we've seen this a lot over the last, I'd say, year or so, where collectors don't always agree on what a brand releases. You know, I've been a massive advocate for InArt, hence the name of the channel. I've been harsh at times on InArt and Hot Toys, and I've been somewhat, you could say, somewhat harsher, just to maybe by a smidge there, to Jazz Inc., who haven't got a proven track record yet, and it's been a point of contention. And we do have Jazz Inc. on the docket for tonight, so I will have a Jazz Inc. discussion for you all shortly. But I think for me, the thing I struggle with the most, and when I'm running, I do it when I'm streaming, when I'm making videos, or when I'm just talking to people like yourself in the community. Well, not like yourself, like I'm not trying to call anyone out, but when you try and frame any type of criticism, whether it be constructive or just straight criticism, which I think a lot of the time is fair, right? I know we've seen a lot of the time people become quite tribal, and I almost thought for a second there I was a complete InArt shield. But when the Michael Jackson Smooth Criminal released, you remember I did make a video on that one about the seamless forearm stuff, whether they were cutting corners, you know. And the last video that I made about InArt cutting corners and not offering maybe as many accessories or options as they used to in the box, sort of took me down this rabbit hole of trying to discover why that may be. But at the same time, I sort of ran past this whole, you know, the Argentum, the Platinum, and the Rhodium stuff. They're tiers, which is like the Artisan, the DX, and the MMS, you know, sort of tiering from Hot Toys, to see if that would give me any sort of detail as to why maybe some of these things are being stripped back. But it seems now today that InArt are releasing everything under Argentum, so they're lowest tier. You know, I think they probably all but abandoned that method, because I did wonder when they first came around doing that system, like Hot Toys did it, and we've already seen before InArt tried to do it, that Hot Toys just pretty much abandoned that, and a DX and an MS release, they're sort of like, they're sort of, you know, one in the same now, right? For the most part. But I gave criticism on that, and I've given a lot of criticism on Hot Toys, and every time that I do, and I give criticism on any company, which I do quite freely, as you've probably noticed, right? I get a lot of people, and it's such a strong reaction. And I think for me, it is that tribalism to brands. It's almost, I guess, Shane from One Six Figure Focus put it to me the best, when the whole Jazz Inc. thing was going on with the Catwoman. If you remember those videos, was that I've sort of gone in and I've taken a shit where they were eating, and it's sort of, I understand where he's coming from. But at the same time, if you can't offer constructive criticism to a brand, and as soon as you do, you sort of get heckled out of that space, when does anything improve? And that's, I guess that's my question to you guys. If we're consistently seeing that, if any criticism is seen as, and this is something that was shared in the Jazz Inc. group, towards myself, because I had criticism around the product or the quality thereof, I was a troll. Like, you're immediately, as soon as you have any criticism at all towards certain brands, you're a troll, and people just want to shut you down and get rid of you. But I think we should always, as collectors, be open to those conversations, because if we're not, and we just have that tribalism, the companies will continue to do what they do. Because why on earth would they improve for you and give you more bang for your buck if everyone just blindly defends them? And I think that's what I come up across quite often, and it's a shame. It really is a shame. There you go, Jim. We're all adults here. We should be able to discuss these things sensibly. And I agree. And I always try and do that. Like, even when I'm giving what would be considered by most people quite harsh criticism on a figure or a company or something that's happened, like an announcement, I'm always going after the item itself. I'm not going after anyone in particular. Like, I'm not going, oh, this Catwoman's not good enough, Yost is a horrendous person. I'm not attacking an individual. So to have such strong reactions, but I do get it. Because if someone, saying that, if anyone says anything negative about InArt, I'm like, okay, cool, that's your opinion, right? And that's fine, and you're entitled to that. If you're not interested in the item itself or the figure or whatever it may be, you're more than welcome to pass the criticism. Because when you put anything out into that space, and social media, as you're probably aware, there's a lot of feedback as soon as you post anything on social media. So as soon as you put that out there, I think it would be foolish for us. Like, if InArt put up a post, it would be foolish for me to expect all of the feedback to be positive. It just simply isn't a thing. Like with the Pennywise, that I'm incredibly excited about, and we'll talk about later, there's people that have said it should be rooted. Sculpted looks terrible. They've revisited this character way too soon. And then obviously they announced the bloody version. They put out a tease for the bloody version. And just people lost their mind over that. And, we should always be open to hearing it and open to others' opinions. Otherwise, what's the point? And a lot of people, and I've had it said to me before, like, if you're not buying it, shut up. It's like, well, that's not really how it works. When you do the streaming like I'm doing here, you can't just really shut up and move on. And someone said that in the stream before as well, shut up. If you're not buying it, don't worry about it. Don't talk about it. It's like, well, that's not really how this works, dude. It's a bit counterproductive to running a stream, right? As long as it's a good figure, I have no care who releases it. Yeah, I'm the same, Bailey. And, there was a time where people said to me that, you are just glazing InArt constantly. But as soon as that Michael Jackson released, and I guess it's on me because I didn't notice it when it was initially announced, because obviously they'd futzed it correctly. But some of the promo pictures, or the blogger pictures that I saw, those egregious wrist joints were on full display, and it was just the most horrendous looking thing as well. And I'm waiting to get it in hand before I make a final decision on whether or not I actually keep it. But I was the first person from what I saw to call that out and go, this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. We expect from InArt the seamless wrist, the upper class of realism from that company, and that is why they get held to a higher degree than Hot Toys a lot of time, and it doesn't seem fair, but that's, you know, that's the way it is. They can, but when certain YouTubers, not you, that's fine. You can come for me if you want. Constantly push a brand, it gets old. I don't even hate InArt. I dislike all the YouTubers pushing it. I don't see the YouTubers selling their Hot Toys. I mean, yeah, I've sold pretty much all of my Hot Toys at this point. I've got 2 left. No, sorry, that's a lie. I've got 3 left. But yeah, I think it is fair to say that when anyone pushes a brand, regardless of how that brand is, you know, in other people's eyes performing, I agree that could become quite long in the tooth pretty quickly, right? Earth 616 Collector says people become too hive-minded. I completely agree. When it comes to brands, it's similar to following your favorite sports team. You live and die with it to the end, and there are people like that, and that's something that I've always wanted to avoid when doing the streams and the videos, is that I'm never that. I sort of feel that I have a responsibility not only to myself but to you guys to be completely authentic. And that's why when InArt, you know, as much as it pains me as an all and out InArt fan to admit they've misstepped and quite frankly fucked up, I have to call it out. I have to call it out of that, otherwise that just wouldn't be authentic. And you know, I have to. I wouldn't be being honest to myself if I hadn't called that Michael Jackson thing out, the wrists. I wouldn't. And you know, the people, and I was feeling the full brunt of InArt fans. You know, these people would have loved me like 6 minutes ago, but I called that out, and I got so many people going, "This is easily fixable. Pull up the sleeves." And I'm like, that's not good enough. Like, oh, you can hide it. It's like, no, it's not just about hiding it. It's about the principle. It's always about the principle. Dagito, hello. I can understand a certain loyalty to a brand, but as long as you can see/agree to their inconsistencies failings when they happen, constructive criticism can make companies better. Yes, I completely agree. The problem is, and it's something I've said 1,000 times before, right, is when we say as a collective, let's say Hot Toys announce Anakin, right? They announce Anakin and we're like, this isn't good enough. A lot of the people that say it's not good enough still then continue and go on to purchase it. So if Hot Toys, InArt, it doesn't matter what brand, if you love any brand, like myself, I love InArt, the only language for the most part these companies understand is this: the cash money. That's all they understand. You know, they release a figure, they give you rooted hair, sculpted hair, they give you a set of accessories, you know, they give you a sculpt. It goes from prototype to then you see the final version. And if that final version is a 40% drop off, for example, I know that's a bit heinous. You know, we don't usually see a 40% drop off unless it's an Artisan Anakin. And you all still buy this. I understand that you were looking forward to it, and I understand the idea behind still going through with the purchase because you want that representation. However, then Hot Toys don't get the message. I think it's a struggle as well because Hot Toys being the market leader in sheer numbers and volume and IPs for figures they release, right? They don't get that feedback because they sell to, you know, they've got their secret base stores. They sell to places like 16 Kit, you know, all these Hong Kong resellers that send them here, there, and everywhere across the world. Those Hong Kong resellers have had their list of pre-orders. Like you guys here have pre-ordered from the Hong Kong resellers. They put in an order with Hot Toys, and then that's the chain complete, right? You're the end of that chain. So those figures then get shipped to the Hong Kong resellers, or you know, the likes of 16 Kit, Sideshow, etc., etc. And then if people even cancel and you do try and vote with your wallet, that gets completely missed because Hot Toys have already made that sale, right? They've already made the sale and they've moved on with their lives, and they're like, right, on to the next, you know. So it's difficult. It's difficult because I don't feel like they get the message a lot of the time, and it's easy to see because the last change they made that was significant and notable was the Kenobi sculpt, you know, from the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So, you know, it's been a while since that actually happened. We've got a lot of people who have got figure it out reviews. Hello, I hope you're well. Trying tribal with support for certain streamers as well, either support or criticism. It really just divides the community. The broke collector, I completely agree. Yeah, if I do something great, I would appreciate a big round of applause. You know, if I do something that you guys can call me out as not being authentic, as the conversation we just had, because I pride myself on always being authentic with you all, then I would expect you to call me out on that as well. And I would expect no one to back me up. Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Got Lucy Burton. Hello, Luce. Hope you're well. What year did the previous It come out? Dude, I should know this, shouldn't I? As an InArt and a Pennywise nut, I should know this. But it was a good few years ago now. So it wasn't. Pennywise went up around the same time as Gandalf. When was Gandalf? Like 3 years ago, maybe? Something like that. You're right, David. The improvements they made to Pennywise is worth a new release. Dude, you know what? I agree with you, and I'm all in on the new Pennywise. You know, as shocked as you may be, I can see your shocked faces. David's buying a Pennywise? No way. Yes, I do agree with people. I understand people are disappointed that it's not rooted. However, there's two things we need to remember with Rooted. The original Pennywise, don't get me wrong, I fucking adore those figures. You can see them this side. I absolutely adore that's not a set, it's two individual figures, you understand? But I love those two figures. They are just chef kiss. You couldn't offer me all of King Midas's silver to part with them. I love the Rooted. I've always said in the widow's peak of the Pennywise, you have like the little individual hairs where the hairline is receding. He's a monster. He's not really receding, is he? I'm sure he's not caring about if he is. I mean, I am, but you know, I'm a human man. So where the receding is, and you've got the little hairs, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. But I have said many a time, InArt are trying to simplify what they're doing. And realistically, as much as I love these, Will said it the best. It is just a big clump of hair. Like, I know a lot of these dollies. Why am I saying dollies? A lot of these figures have a lot of product in the hair. You have to. It's not like our real hair. It doesn't have much weight to it, right? It's quite fluffy by nature. But it's just literally, it's just one big chunk. Which hand am I? This hand. It's just one big chunk of hair. Like, so for the monster, like with all the teeth, that makes sense to be rooted. I understand why they went rooted, because back in the day, it was sort of they were new to the market. It was their thing to be rooted. I also think there is maybe an attempt, and I'm just trying to play devil's advocate now and just be diplomatic about the scenario. I do think there is also an element of not trying to tread on the owners of these figures' toes. I do think there is an element of that as well, because they said they weren't going to do 2.0s, and they sort of did one release, and that was it. And I feel like they want to stay true to that while being able to offer people a new Pennywise. So, you know, I could be completely wrong, but that's my 2 pence on it. Hey, how are you? I think you were on Shillstream last night, right? Thank you for joining me. I very much appreciate it. Wow, there's so many people. There's so many comments. It's hard to keep up. If I missed, oh, Jesus, good Lord. I thought there was like 10 or 15. I was like, oh my God. And then I scrolled and like it went mental. Something's going wrong here. Here we go. So InArt Gandalf was up for pre-order. Thank you, Mary. August 20. That's did you Google that? If you didn't Google that, I'm impressed. InArt is a type of company to go, we tried rooted, it just doesn't work. And we went molded, sculpted. Yeah. I don't remember the last time InArt tried to go cheap for the sake of profit. Yeah. I feel like, especially with the Pennywise, it makes more sense. And a lot of people would argue, like, if you sent a Pennywise sculpt, maybe even this one, like the new one, if you sent that sculpt to Tetsu, the rooter, who I'm sure you've heard of on Instagram, he could probably replicate rooted that hairstyle for Pennywise, but that's one guy sitting there meticulously doing all of that. You can't production line that stuff. You can't. I would love it if they did, but they can't. It's simply not possible. And we have to realize that, right? I'm excited about the new Pennywise releases. I disagree about the rooting not being needed. Yeah, that's fair. Yes, it's basically rooted hair that's sculpted, but it brings a sense of realism that sculpted never can. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. And that's why I still love my original release. But I know if you don't have that original one and seeing the I'm hoping for all of you, because it doesn't matter to me. I couldn't care less if this was worthless tomorrow, because I couldn't give a shit. I'm not going to sell it to you anyway. But I hope that the 2 new Pennywises bring down the price for any of you that missed out on that one. And I think the problem is with the original, it sold so poorly, that there's just not many about anymore. And they very rarely come up for sale. And unfortunately, when they do come up for sale, it is someone that's looking to take advantage of the current market for it. So I see them on eBay all the time, like £1,800, which is absurd. Never ever pay that. Please never pay that, because that is just scalper prices, and we don't like scalpers here at the Shills. Okay, but I'm hoping for all of you that missed out on it and you want the rooted, that is still a phenomenal offering. If you can get that cheaper, I'd say anywhere. If you could get that for £600-700 eventually, I would say go absolutely bananas and pick that up. Shame no live stream of Pennywise would be nice. I hope they do that. I really hope they do that. Hope everyone can be David. I know you're on your own today, but you're doing a great job, and the reason the channel was great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And there we go. Exactly. This is what we think. What do we think of scalpers, guys? What have we got here? Let's go with that one. A classic sound effect. Right, I'll leave that up there for now because I couldn't agree more. Even when I see like people online scalping Pokemon cards, I'm like, dude, that's for kids. Cough. Loser. So what have we got next? I tell you what we've got next. I know a lot of people are excited about this. And guys in the chat, you're going to have to help me, because I am a noob when it comes to anything to do with aliens. Well, what are you doing, StreamYard? Don't break on me now. That's not what we need. How dare you? That's wrong. That's wrong. Stop being an arse. Right. Okay. Oh, dude, honestly, it really is. The videos I see, I'm like, oh my God, just insane. Absolute insanity. People have lost their minds over there in the TCG world. We're not here to talk about cardboard. We're here to talk about awesome action figures, right? So this looks absolutely incredible. Like I say, I'm going to need your guys' help on this one, because I'm not the biggest Aliens fan, but we were speaking about this last night on Will's show. And this, for me, I know I bash on Hot Toys a lot. I wouldn't say bash. I think bash is a bit of an extreme. I give Hot Toys a lot of shit, as I give everyone a lot of shit, and I'm very much loved within the community for it. Some people wouldn't agree. I think this looks absolutely phenomenal. It is amazing. I do think the on the back, oh God, I don't know the terminology, so I'm so sorry. The tubes on the back, they look a little bit like Shrek's ears. That's what I thought as soon as I saw those, but I don't want to ruin it for anyone. But this is, I want to say, this is the coolest xenomorph that we've seen release in recent history. And I think I would argue that the Scorched that we've had for a while now, I think that what was announced in 2024, did it come out in 2024? One or the other, is incredibly cool. I had that figure for a while. I've already admitted that was this is cool purchase, and I'm not the biggest fan of the Aliens franchise. Not to say it isn't awesome, it definitely is, but just not a massive fan of it. And I know that's sacrilege. I apologize. This is one of the coolest xenomorphs we've seen, and I love the color. And I think what we were saying last night is this a lot of blue light, or is this just very, very blue? And I think it is very blue, and I love the color palette that we've gone with this. It feels very, very, it sounds really noobish of me. It feels very alien. Like, unless this was green, this is just the perfect coloring for it. And I know it's obviously true to the film as well. But I would argue just the complete package, the color, the base. I know the base that came with the Xenomorph is also fantastic, but I think this base with the egg, which is an extra $35, which seems a lot for a plastic egg, but it's pretty big and it looks pretty cool. I think this is the best package that we've seen so far. And speaking of packages, that head sculpt, it's looking a little bit sus. I'm just saying, if I turn that picture, flipped it like this way, and that curve, anyway, yes, moving on swiftly. And obviously you've got the Ripley there as well, which we'll get onto Ripley next after this one. I just think, as much as I have no interest in it, I don't think you can argue with the quality we're seeing here. And you know I didn't enjoy the Scorched Xenomorph that I did purchase, so I sold that one on. However, the engineering for a figure as spindly as this is top notch, and that's where Hot Toys really do shine. 99% of the time is their engineering. You know, I give them shit on their head sculpts, their tailoring, and all that stuff, but the engineering in 1/6, they are ahead of the game. It's a shame that they don't apply that to more Iron Man stuff with the USBs and things like that, and they still fucking around with button cell batteries in 2026. That's very naughty of you. InArt, you too, very naughty. This is what we think about button cell batteries. Get rid of them. Just fuck it off. But this, I know there's a lot of people here. I know I don't even need to look at the chat. I'm sure he's already said it. Jim will 100% pick this one up. It wouldn't surprise me. It just looks phenomenal. Let's go to the chat and see what some of you guys say. Oh, so freaking hyped for this release, dude. It looks like an absolute stunner. I cannot lie to you. I own the Scorched Xeno from Romulus. Yeah, and I think, you know what, the Scorch, and that was a point, so thank you for reminding me. This is cooler for how many reasons? There's three reasons. I'm going to give you three reasons. The color, I much prefer the color of this one, although I do like the gray and browns of the Scorched Xenomorph, and obviously the swap out headpiece with the damage on it. The base on this one is far superior, although the base on the Scorched Xenomorph is no slouch, and it's from a it's a 40th anniversary figure as well, so that's always cool. An anniversary figure, sorry, is always very, very cool. But it's from a much more iconic film. I think that's why this makes this 100% cooler. They do good, in my opinion, on the Aliens release. I just missed the lack of facehugger with Ripley, as with the Xenomorph. Yeah, that's true, because we did get a facehugger with the Scorch, right? So that's a bit of a shame. Yeah, I didn't pick up on that, dude, honestly. But I mean, we didn't get a facehugger, but that, I'm looking at this thinking, Jesus, this looks really cool. I want to get this bloody thing. It just looks so imposing. It looks dangerous, and that's what I love about the Scorched and this one. They look dangerous, and it's just really cool. But I mean, the face hugger, sorry, it's a good point. Hot Toys, that's probably worth like what, 40 cents, if that. Get it in the box. The Warrior design was beautiful. One of the best live action design in the history of Aliens. I would, as someone who's not a fan of the franchise and having seen them solely through figure form, I would agree with you 100%. The Scorch is the perfect for Xenomorph for most people, but this one is really for the fans of Aliens. Yes, I agree with you. This is for the Aliens purists. I would completely agree with you. Scorch came out this year. Yes, it did. Thank you, Jim. I've not seen this name before. Jonesy's Collectibles Corner. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining me. I've still got my Scorched Xenomorph brand new in box opening up tomorrow. No idea where I'm going to display it. I'm pretty sure it won't fit in my dead house unless I adjust the shelves. And yeah, unless you have it really hunched and the legs really bent. The Bleledens that I've got, which is the upgrade to the Detolf. It it fit, not on the base though. If you want it without the base, you're good to go. If you want it on the base, you are shit out of luck, basically. Scorch is going for a crazy price. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I sold mine, and I didn't get very much for it, but the market wasn't the strongest there. Christ almighty, this is a lot of comments. We've got the Ben Thomas show. Hello, Ben. I hope you're well, my friend. We love Ben. Whenever he comes on, he takes us to the gun show, and we like man crush over him. It's great. He's probably gone red right now, but he's not on the camera right now, so it's fine. I wonder if they're still going to release the brown variant. That would be cool. But is that not just like the Scorched Xenomorph at that point, right? I feel like 90% of collectors, unless you're a completionist, would be happy with just this one release. But I feel like this one is the one to get. If you, Jim, we'll sort it out here, right? If you were to get one or t'other, one or the other, the brown or the blue, which one are you going with? Actually, I tell you what, bugger it for a bunch of bananas. You lot, let's put it in the chat. Alien Warrior black. Oh, hello. Or brown. Let's take this shit interactive. Oh no, not black or brown. Oh, I did the wrong thing. Blue. A beautiful new blue alien. Let's change this here. Blue or brown? Here we go. Let's create this. So vote 1 for brown, 2 for blue. Yeah, any of you guys that are massive Alien fans, you're eating good. You're eating good. One thing this Alien Warrior has, one advantage is, sorry, I had a fit reading for a second. Well, one thing this Alien Warrior has, one advantage is that the Warrior base actually fits in a case without taking up the space, and you can fit the Warrior in a detail. Yeah, that is good news, because I think there's a lot of collectors that are still using the details, right? Because IKEA, as much as I love my Bleledens, I am well aware, space-wise, just volume that you can fit in them is very much less. Not so much so, but a notable difference. You wouldn't go from a detail to one of these. I completely appreciate that. No, I'm not the bit. I like RoboCop, but it's one of those that I love. I would always watch it, but I don't have like that compulsion like I do like Lord of the Rings to collect 1/6 representations of it. I don't know. It's weird for me. I don't always have that. I wish One Deluxe had an open egg. Shame they are both the same with Ripley and the Warrior. That would have been cool, actually. And then if you've got the set, then yeah, no, that actually makes total sense. You should have done that. They should have done that, not you. Sorry. Blue would make more sense as they're more blue on screen, but the actual suit is more brownish color. Jim, okay, if you could get one, you get the blue. Okay, I was going to say, make your bloody mind up, you Wally. Yeah, 2 for sure. Here we go. We've got to figure it out. The brown alien is how the Xeno looks off camera. The blue is how it looks after camera, and use blue color grading in editing. So it's about preference. Yes. Okay. No, I didn't know that. That's a really interesting fact, though. So I clicked on the wrong comment. Warrior has to be blue. I would agree. As someone that's not a massive fan of the franchise, yeah, this looks phenomenal. This looks phenomenal. The egg, I agree, actually. Yeah, they should have had an open egg. And obviously, we've got the MMS 354 there as well, which is a little bit older now. And is 826, is that Big Chap? I can't remember. But I'm not a massive fan of Big Chap. Like, I just don't, it does look like a guy in a costume, and I'm not a massive fan of that. I am much more that the Scorched and the Warrior, they look feral. Yeah, like I don't, with the Big Chap, I just feel like he's going to pop around the corner and go, hello, like Mr. Bean voice. I don't know why he was Mr. Bean in that instance, but I feel like he's much less threatening than the Warrior. Yeah, I know Big Chap is the GOAT, but he's just a little bit lame. He's just a little bit lame. I don't know. I'm sorry, Jim. I can't help you. He's just a little bit. It's just a little bit poop. Like I don't know what to say to you. Now, I was going to go through all of them here, but let me just pull up one. Let me leave Jim on screen for a little while, because I'm sure he loves the attention. Bless him. Let's move on to Ripley. Now, I'm going to open with this. This is the deluxe sculpted. I mean, it doesn't really matter. This is the deluxe. We're just looking at the figure right now, and the Artisan. And the reason I've done this comparison from well, actually, I thought I did 2 different angles. Naturally, they're all looking the same direction because I'm an idiot, apparently. Is that some people are saying, and again, keep me honest here, guys, because I'm not. I can look at a likeness. I didn't actually do a comparison with Sigourney Weaver. I probably should have done that. My mistake. But some people are saying that the hair sculpt throws this one off. Now, as someone, like I've said, self-admitted, not a massive Aliens fans franchise. Fans franchise? Rewind. What was that? That wasn't even English, I don't think. As someone who's not a massive fan of the Aliens franchise, I do see the likeness in at certain angles, but it's sort of one of those, and I hate saying it. It's like, um, I, I love this kind of. I don't understand where this came from, but I love it. Yeah, exactly, 100%. I don't know how that ever happened. I just remember him obviously when he's on the roof with the big chair. Yeah, good times, good times. Ah, the 90s. Was it early 2000s, Mr. Bean? I can't remember now. I don't know when that came out, but I loved it regardless. But yeah, keep me honest in the chat, guys. I think the sculpt, I don't think it's being thrown off by the hair at all. But I guess if you're a hardcore fan, yeah, then I guess it could well be. But I think both sculpts look good. I mean, it is the same sculpt, let's be honest. The hair, and it's something that we spoke about. I'm only going to show the Artisan when I jump to the Hot Toys page. But I do think the problem is with sculpted hair, and this isn't just for this figure, this is just figures generally. And we saw the same thing recently, and I know a lot of people disagree with me on it, which is completely fair. That not Hot Toys at all. I'm not speaking about Hot Toys now, but generally across the board, when you try and sculpt a beard, like a big old bushy beard, not just stubble, like a big old beard, or like the Punisher, like we saw, quite a tame beard, shall we say, but very styled beard that has some it leaves the face, it leaves the skin, is what I'm trying to say. When you try and sculpt that, the issue is that you end up, like we can see here, with a lot of volume, where maybe volume doesn't always need to exist. And she had relatively big hair in the film. It's what, the 80s, right? I mean, they all had big hair in the 80s. But the problem is you can't really capture that. And I feel like when we've seen in the past people that have tried to go a little bit deeper with the sculpt and try and force that depth, it starts to look a little bit cheap. At the same time, if you don't capture enough depth, then it looks a little bit weird. It looks like a Lego. I think someone said last night, it's just like stuck a bit of Lego on someone's head. And I understand, but that's not a Hot Toys issue. That's just a life issue, right? Like you can't really get around that when you're sculpting what is a natural thing from plastic. It's just one of those things. I need to make these comments bigger. Good Lord. I am getting old, guys, basically, and I need bigger comments. Here we go. That's much better. I don't know what I said, but as long as it upset Jim, and I upset Harrison as well. I'm doing well. 2 for 2. Wait, is Vita upset as well? Oh no. Yeah, Vita's never upset with me. But yeah, this is a good point. Big chap is for the nostalgia. I completely agree. For OG fans, you need OG fans. Mitchell went with sculpted. I think that's a really good shout. I do. I think the sculpted looks phenomenal. I know Mandy wasn't happy with the sculpt, but Mandy, I think it'd be fair to say, is like a super fan of this. She's got a real thing for like female hero characters, and I think that's fair. And I don't think we see enough. Sorry, I've got a lot coming through here. What is going on? I don't know. Sorry. Yeah. Right. Okay. I'm back in the room. Yeah, she's a massive fan of these hero, strong female types, and I completely understand because we don't get enough representation for female characters in 1/6 a lot of the time. And if we do, we've discussed it, and the Viking Collectibles channel discusses it quite often. They come with relatively questionable proportions sometimes. But I think overall this is good. I think the note I had for this is it sort of looks like someone cosplaying her that is almost a doppelganger. I don't think the sculpt is 100% there. But yeah, this is what Mandy was saying effectively. And it's a shame because I said last night on Will Show, this is a character, right, that I would put, not for myself, but for other people, I would very much put at the importance of Anakin when it comes to Star Wars fans. And I think that's a completely fair sentiment. Where do I prefer myself? No, not there. Oh, Back to normal. Small David. Here we go. This is the Artisan. Now, of course, you knew that. I'm mansplaining. This is the Artisan, everyone. So I think this one looks phenomenal as well. I don't think here there is any issue. The sculpt isn't the strongest. I completely agree. And sorry, back to my other train of thought before I departed the station without it, is that this character for thousands of people, millions of people, thousands of collectors, I would argue is just as important as Anakin is for Star Wars collectors. I don't think there'd be anyone in the chat. So, well, there may be someone that says she's more important than Anakin, and that'd be completely fair. Yeah, thank you for confirming. But yeah, Deadpool again. You're not seeing Sigourney Weaver in the sculpt, and I would agree. I wouldn't like to say especially what is wrong. I've done some comparisons. I know there's a lot of fans out there that aren't completely sold on the likeness. The problem is that Alien fans, when it comes to Ripley, have not been eating good for the last however many years it's been since the last one came out. The last one is starting to show its age, so it's definitely a while ago, right? So we need to bear that in mind. And the problem is that Hot Toys are now not going to get the message that this ain't it, Chief. They're not going to get that message, and they very rarely get that message anyway, right? But I think it is fair to say that it is a good sculpt. It's a good sculpt, don't get me wrong. It's just not Sigourney Weaver, doppelganger, shrink ray quality. I think it is good. I mean, I see it a little bit more here. But I think people have said when it comes to more, not gaunt, that's the completely wrong word, but more slender faces with stronger cheekbones, Hot Toys tend to struggle with that. And it's something that I've shared quite often, is that they do, it's more like cutesy sculpts, whereas InArt tend to lean a bit more into the realism. I always tend to find as well that Hot Toys sculpts are sometimes let down with the size of the eyes. It seems to be that they're adamant on using one size of rolling eye, and they're not going to step away from that any way, shape, or form. They're going to just crack on and just keep doing that standard thing. Whereas I feel like, a bit more eyelid, and the eyes protrude quite far out a lot of the time. If you look at the sculpt side on, you'll see the eyeball sometimes like almost somewhat protruding over the eyelids, which is quite strange. Do you remember back in the early 2000s or the late 90s where it was like that trend that everyone used to go and find those people that could like pop their eyeballs out of their head? That was a really weird thing. That's also sometimes what they look like. Bailey says still looks off slightly, but Sigourney's got a peculiar facial structure to now. Yeah, I guess it could be that. Jim, who's a massive Aliens fan, so I'll trust his judgment on this one and this thing only. They got the nose. Yeah, I can see that. Cheeks and mouth are a letdown, though. Yeah, I can see. I'm going to take a drink while you all read that one out for me. Yeah, the Ronald McDonald hair. I'm going to get to the hair in a second, definitely. Oh, goodness, this is... yeah, Matt, I think that's the way a lot of people are going to go, dude. I do. And not only that, and it's something that we discussed last night again, that people have lost faith in the Artisan. And I know a lot of people in the States, there's a lot of collectors in the States, we know that for a fact. They have the backing of Sideshow, which is the rest of the world doesn't have. The distribution of Hot Toys for such a big company is shit. It really is. We rely on Hong Kong resellers. We don't have a Sideshow in Europe at all. Like, for those of you in the States didn't know that, we have nothing of the sort. So we buy solely pretty much through Hong Kong resellers. And if you get a dud, there's a chance that they will help you out. Like 1/6 Kit will likely sort you out. He's only just recently started selling them though. But I'm sure the Hong Kong sellers would do their best to sort the issue out. But then you've got to send it back to Hong Kong. They go out and swap the sculpt, blah, blah, blah. It's just a long old process. And I know Mandy had that over Anakin and Toys on Fire. The reseller did sort that out for her. But it's a strenuous and long process. Yeah, and we've seen. I would agree. This likeness is much better than Cassian. 100%. Yeah, it's a hard facial structure, Bailey. I would agree. Okay, yeah, I actually I did see that. I completely forgot to put them in here. But let's talk about the hair for a second. I mean, she's got the let's go back to the hair picture. She was 69. Sorry, that was random. 69 viewers. My apologies. The hair. Now, I know a lot of people have said the hair isn't the correct shape. And it was a sentiment shared on Willstream last night that she looks a bit more disheveled by this point in the film. And playing devil's advocate again, they went a bit light on the weathering. It should be much more grubby than she currently is. But, it costs them more time, costs them more money to do those things. So any company will probably skimp out on this unless they're going to upcharge you for the privilege of having it a bit more grubby. With the hair, though, there is the argument that you can futz it. I don't think, personally, from what I've seen of the Artisan hair, I've had an Anakin. What other Artisans have I had? I've had a Jack Sparrow, which is covered by a bandana. Can't really count that one. But the Anakin, there was a point in time when I was like, I'm going to sort this hair out. And this is after, of course, washing Gandalf's hair, washing Aragorn's hair. Obviously not touch Legolas's hair, because that would be just a death sentence for that figure. Because any of you that own Aragorn, Legolas, that hair, if that's out of place, don't mess with it. Just don't mess with it. I've washed the hair. You never see any glue on the scalp or anything. But I looked at my Anakin and I started separating some strands out just to see, because of all the issues people have had, I was wary. And I saw glue immediately. As soon as I lifted a strand of hair, there was just glue looking me square in the face. Have they improved since then? I don't know. And I wouldn't like to speak upon whether they've improved by now. I doubt it. They seem to struggle with the Artisan stuff. But my issue is with this looks very, very perfect and very, very styled. And I just worry for the people that are purchasing this, you're not going to get this out of the box. You're simply not. And I just don't trust the Artisan hair enough to start messing around with it, because you could try and take the styling away from what they did at the factory, and you would immediately maybe remove hair from the sculpt, which is the worst case scenario. And that would be such a bitch, especially if you're not through a sideshow. And I'm assuming if you tampered with it and you did buy from sideshow, they'd probably tell you to kick rocks. If you're from a Hong Kong reseller even, then you're probably out of luck there as well. So I think we need to bide time and wait to see how this turns out. And I mean, the one the bloggers get, I've seen many examples of blogger pictures where the hair looks like there's glue in the hair and everything. And, they're obviously not making that much of an effort to make sure that the bloggers get a perfect version. But I think we need to see the blogger pics before any of us make a decision, because this is a prototype of absolutely perfection of rooted hair, which when you look at putting that to a production line, and I think that's something that we should always have in the back of our minds when we talk about any of this stuff, that's got to go to a production line, and people that are not unskilled, but are much less skilled than the person that put that particular one together are going to be rooting it. Okay, because the people that root this for the prototype are going to be the tippy top of the talent that these companies have on offer. Matt says the battle damage on her face doesn't correlate with the tidiness of her costume. I would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah, that's a fair shout. Messing and fussing with the arse and hair would do my OCD, and dude, sometimes it's not worth it. Sometimes it's just not, especially when it's as styled as that. I had to return my Artisan Wanda. Will Fox had to do that. He did it twice and he got 2 duds to sideshow because the hair was so bad. I still will order an Artisan for the right character. But like this Ripley and Thor, knowing I have the backing of Sideshow, exactly, dude. If you've got the backing of Sideshow, try your hand. Why the hell not? Alex and Rep, I've not seen that name before, so welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining me. I'm so tired of Hot Toys doing this Artisan rat race. Either sell it normally or stop. I'm tired of being treated like an animal, where I have to waitlist it, and God forbid I'm in a meeting. Yeah, the Artisans, not so much as they used to be. I remember when I tried to get in the queue for Anakin, I was like 12,000 in the queue, and I didn't get a sniff. that bloody thing. I think it's calmed down since then, but I think it is still mental. It's still mad trying to get in. I know the Ripley was available after the queue had ended, but only for a short period of time, dude. So yeah, like you say, if you're in a meeting or you're doing something else, you could be shit out of luck, which is a pain in the ass. I sold my Jack Sparrow before. Was it before that was announced? No, it was after that was announced, but I didn't have any. It looks incredible, but I had no intention of buying it. What shampoo do I recommend? What shampoo do I, that's a great question, Obi-Wan Kenobi. What shampoo do I recommend? Something free from sulfates, because that's a word that I know people don't like in their skincare stuff. So I'm assuming that's correct. But honestly, anything your other half uses, use the posh stuff. Okay, use the posh stuff. That's my recommendation to you. And what is posh to you? What's posh to you is probably much more posh than anything I would use. So yeah, go with that. Go with that. The posh stuff, whatever that looks like for you. Right, we've got now everyone's favorite subject when it comes to the Shield channel. So I'm actually going to share the screen for this one. We've got some more Jazz Inc. We've got some more Jazz Inc. So we're going to quickly look at the Facebook posts. Let me just take a swig here. And I was watching Helen over at the 6 Scale Shiro. Massive fan of her channel. I always watch it on a Friday afternoon if I can. Couple of posts. So we've got Alicia Silverstone, Batgirl. And we have also got Uma Thurman, Poison Ivy. But let's start with Alicia Silverstone. I cannot believe how good Alicia Silverstone, Batgirl 1/6 figure is coming together. Thanks, Sean Dabbs, Cajun Art. I don't know how to say that name. Blue? I'm assuming it's Blue. Sorry if it's not. Andy and Tetsu. You can see her in person at SDCC 2026. Pre-order date and price to be determined. Fine. No, not a bad post. I think this one was afterwards. Oh, yeah, it is. Sorry, of course it is. The same A-team that is working on Alicia Silverstone Batgirl is also working on Poison Ivy. So iconic and beautiful. What do you think? More details to come. Price and PO date to be determined. Thanks, Sean, Cajun, Tetsu, Andy, and Blue. Again, okay, so they've got the same artists working on both sculpts. Cool. So, Argan Oil shampoo is the best one. Oh, okay, yeah. That's the expensive shit. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Let's leave this one up. Thank you, Natalie. I need a wait. Here we go.
Hot take.
Hot take. I don't like this. I really don't like this. And I said to you guys earlier, I always have to be authentic in this stuff. And I'm not going to stop now. It puts a bad taste in my mouth, the messaging behind this. So if you want to see my thoughts on the Catwoman, I'm not going to regurgitate because I'm sure people watching this have probably heard enough of me waffling on about that Jazz Inc. Catwoman. And I'm intrigued to see how that turns out. And I do think when that one drops, I think it's going to set the hobby on fire for a period of time. I do believe that two things are going to happen. Was it two things that I said? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, two things that I said. When that drops, I truly believe more than anything in the world that Hot Toys are going to come along as soon as that drops and kick Jazz Inc. in the pants. Not that I want them to. I just think this is a very Hot Toys move. And they will release their own Artisan of that Catwoman. I truly believe that of everything. They've done the 89 line. I just think they're going to come along and try and steal the thunder. It's a very Hot Toys thing to do. I also think when that Catwoman drops, it's going to set the hobby on fire, like I just said. I hope for Jazz Inc. and everyone that's involved in it that it is in a good way. However, I remain skeptical I think it would be fair to say that that's going to set the hobby on fire in a positive way. I think it would be when we see the final end result getting into people's hands. I think it will set the hobby on fire for a period of time, and it remains to be seen whether that will be positive or negative. I think it'd be fair to say. Okay, my issue here. Sorry, let me. Looking forward more to Poison Ivy than the Batgirl, but she looks tempting. And I'm glad you said she looks tempting. My issue here, and we'll skip to the Poison Ivy in a minute here, is that myself, okay, I could go, and I'm not sure. I know Sean Dabbs. I think maybe Sean is a painter. I can't remember. If you're not, I apologize. I know Tetsu is a rooter. We all know Tetsu does some of the finest rooting that any of us ever see. So my issue here, right, and it's nothing against these artists, nothing against, well, it is a little bit against Jazz Inc., is if I went to tomorrow and any of us schmucks, you know, out in this collecting world, this madness that we see ourselves in, if I went, okay, to a really good digital artist and I said to them, I want you to sculpt me the Alicia Silverstone Batgirl. I want you to sculpt the face sculpt for me. I want it to have rolling eyes. So don't do the eyes. I'm going to source them separately, sculpt it for me. And the 3D artist was decent. And you could, you know, he could get him to do this. If you're handy enough and you got the equipment, you could print that sucker yourself if you wanted to. If not, I'm sure there would be someone in Hong Kong, because you would obviously have to send this to Tetsu if you were going to follow the exact same process. You could have someone in Hong Kong print it and paint it for you, and potentially even do the eyes, because that's probably within their wheelhouse if they're painting sculpts. You could then have them forward it to Tetsu to root it. Maybe there's a couple of other people involved here, but you understand my sentiment. I could do this tomorrow. You could do this tomorrow. But then I couldn't then come to you guys, and I appreciate I don't have a team behind me. We don't have a team behind us to be able to then put anything into production, right? But I can't then come to you and go, guys, look, this is what we're creating. Jazz Inc. Top right, Jazz Inc. dioramas. This is what we're creating. No, it's not. It's really not. And I know it sounds harsh, but Jazz Inc., you are not creating this. And I think the fallout that we've seen from the Catwoman stuff, and we've seen, I wouldn't say, I think in ways that sculpt is an upgrade. I think in a lot of ways for collectors it's a downgrade. It depends, you know, how invested you are in the character. Myself, I'm not that invested. I just call it as I sees it, and what's in front of my eyeballs. But one thing I will say about that Jazz Inc. Catwoman as well is we've not seen the battle damaged. We've seen a lot of shots of the clean sculpt, which isn't rooted. We've not seen anything from the battle damaged. So I'm also wondering why that's not the case. But you understand where I'm coming from, right? I'm not trying to bash. All I'm trying to point out here is that given money, I could throw money at custom artists, and I could create my own custom Poison Ivy or Alicia Silverstone head sculpt. I could do that, Jazz Inc. The issue is here is that these sculpts, I think these sculpts look good. I think the Uma Thurman, I think it needs a little bit of work. You know, I'm not a massive fan of the Ivy above the eyes, but it's just paint apps that can be sorted in the final version, right? But I could do this. This is my point. And I don't like, and we've seen the debacle. I can't remember now. But either way, I digress. We've seen that thing setting flames everywhere. You know, whether you're on the side of the fence that thinks it looks awesome, it looks better than the prototype, it looks as roughly the same quality as the prototype, or you think it looks like a bag of poop. You know, whichever side of the fence you sit on, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of discrepancy in the opinions on both sides of the fence, right? My issue here, like I've said many a times now, I need to just keep a coherent train of thought here, is that we could all do this tomorrow, guys. And I don't know, and I hope I'm wrong, and I hope they prove me and every other doubter and naysayer incorrectly, is that I simply do not believe that Jazz Inc. has the team or the capacity right now to, let's speak about something that I do know about, to match the level of routing that we see from Tetsu Studios. I do not believe that Jazz Inc. can match this routing in production. I simply don't believe it. Like, Tetsu, I'm pretty certain, is a one-man band. He's not going to be routing all 1,500 of these. I mean, it would be an impossible task, right? So who is going to be routing the production versions of these? It's not Tetsu. So while I think, you know, and someone rightly pointed out to me that Hot Toys use JC Hong, InArt use Viper for their sculpts sometimes. And Hot Toys have been known to outsource stuff. I think it was the Scarecrow that was outsourced to someone else. It was another sculpt. I can't remember what it was now, but it was outsourced to someone other than JC Hong. Is that these companies, InArt and Hot Toys especially, have proven that they can take the original prototype and get pretty damn close every time. I would argue, and some of you may argue against me, InArt more so than Hot Toys. They can take that original sculpt and get it almost consistently 90%, 95% to proto. You know, and I'll die on that hill. Hot Toys, roughly the same, I'd say, actually. To be fair, maybe 90% for Hot Toys. But I don't think that Jazz Inc. have the expertise at this point or the capacity and the production capacity to replicate this. So I don't understand that it's just, you're going to get your fingers burnt once again, I think is my message to Jazz Inc. And you need to control the messaging, which is something that Ben Thomas constantly says, rightly so, because you can't show what is absolute perfection of rooted hair from one of the best rooters in the game and go, look, we've got the A team on this, but the A team is a bunch of custom artists. You're not going to have these people on the production line putting together your figures. So this is a moot point. I've got a custom head sculpt made. Look how awesome it is. Okay, but you can't deliver that. So what is the point? That's my point. Yeah. Angry Hermit, again, still one of my favorite names on here. It will set the community ablaze. I completely agree. Nagito was on GeoStream last night, and someone said the Batgirl looks like Chloe Grace Moretz. Hit girl. Oh, yeah. I can see what you mean. No, yeah, that's a fair shout. I see it. I see where you're coming from on that one. It's not 100%, but yeah, I can see it. Obi-Wan Kenobi, what pisses me off is he's showing us more figures and keeps delaying Catwoman. And I think this is it. And this is something that Helen said, is that, I know InArt were guilty of this back in the day as well. They had a lot of POs and hadn't really proven themselves yet. Luckily, they did prove themselves, and I'm very happy that they did. But there's a lot of pre-orders and a lot of teases going up for Jazz Inc. at the moment. And it's starting to feel to me somewhat disingenuous in a sense, because I feel like you should allow the people to make a decision on all of this stuff based on how the Catwoman turns out. Now, it remains to be seen when these pre-orders go up, right? But I would hope that these pre-orders don't go up before the Catwoman drops, because you need to show people what you can actually deliver before taking more of their hard-earned money. Because as we all know, unless you're going through Sideshow, you don't get that. There's a reason it's called a non-refundable deposit. So Jazz Inc., my message to you is that before you take anyone else's non-refundable deposits, drop the Catwoman. I think it would be disingenuous to take more NRDs for 1/6 figures when you haven't proven yourself in the market. That is my message, and I'll die now. Keith Lee, my friend, how are you? I hope you're doing good. I'm fully invested in both Catwoman and the Penguin figures, so of course I'm hoping, dude, 1000%. I hope that I'm wrong, because at the end of the day, if I'm not wrong, it's not me or Jazz Inc. that suffers. It's all of you guys that either, one, lose your NRD, two, pay for a figure that you're not happy with. So I 1000% hope that I'm wrong. I hope that I'm wrong. The Barnacle. Okay, you guys are coming up with some real zingers. The issue is Sean Dabbs would charge. Is Sean Dabbs a sculptor, Deadpool? I don't know if you know this. Give me a sling in the chat if you know. Yeah. So he would charge 1,000 plus for a head sculpt. It sounds like he's a sculptor. A painter would charge 250, and a hair rooter, I think Tetsu would run you about 300, maybe 350. But I don't quote that as gospel. Go and get a quote from him. I know it's not stupid prices. It's actually really reasonable when you look at his talent and the outcome of what you're going to get. Sean Dabbs would charge 1,000. A painter would charge 250 thereabouts, and a hair rooter, let's say 350, right? So there's the body and the outfit. So when you look at all that put together, you're just not going to get the same quality. Jazz Inc. have a live stream showcasing all the current project on Thursday. Not impressed with the Wonder Woman. However, I'm keeping my Catwoman pre-order. Dude, Paul, 100%, mate. I hope that it works out for you. I really do. I've had 5 sculpts done by Tetsu. He is amazing. I would say he's as good as InArt. I bet. Dude, I would say he's better than InArt. And, that's not to say that InArt aren't fantastic, and InArt do the best by a long chalk production rooted hair. However, he's always going to be the best, because when he does a sculpt, unless I don't know if he does batches or something, he pours all that love into the one sculpt at the time, right? So there's always going to be better. It's just impossible to not be. Depends. Rooted hair is a secret industry, and some of them have secret mass producing techniques. Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. Batgirl's nose looks like, on the wide side, her lip shape should be slightly different to match the actress. The hair looks great. Can the factory match it? Indeed. Dude, this is, I would say this rooted sculpted hair, what am I on about? This rooted hair is better than InArt. And it's not hard. It's done by Tetsu. Tetsu, gave his undivided attention to this sculpt. So yeah, I would agree. If we have the A team, then who's in the B team and the C team? You know what? I don't know. I think the very best case scenario, you're going to get the B team making your one. Or worst case scenario, no. So best case scenario, you're going to get the B team. Worst case scenario, you're going to get the C team. Figure It Out says, I've PO'd all of Jazz Inc.'s figures so far, so I really hope they don't let me down. Dude, I'm with you. I really hope they don't either. Okay, this is good, the information. Tetsu charges 280, and the wait list is about 4 to 5 months from when you send him the head. Okay, that's not badly priced, really. When you look at the skill and the end result that you're getting, I think 280 is. I think that's fair. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on this Jazz Inc. stuff. I noticed none of you spoke on that. I know there's a fair few people that don't really want to speak out on this stuff, and I completely understand that. But I think, to Jazz Inc., I doubt anyone from Jazz Inc. is watching this, but if anyone does, you can't get these amazing, talented people on a sculpt and then almost present it as your own homework, in a way, as your own work. It's because it's really not your work. It's the work of very talented individual artists, of which output you can't match yet. And I have no qualm saying that. Phil's Toys and Things. I don't know if I've seen that name before, so welcome to the stream if you're new. I wouldn't be dropping any money on Jazz Inc. until they actually release a figure, so we can see what they're actually capable of delivering. Dude, if there's something that I just said, yeah, I completely agree with you. Until they have proven that they can deliver. And from what I've seen so far, I'm not that impressed with the Catwoman. I've just noticed my hair has gone very frizzy. It's very hot here in the UK at the moment, for us anyway. It's above 14 degrees. I've not been impressed from what I've seen with the Jazz Inc. Catwoman. Even the suit on the clean one, they've removed, because obviously in the film she's cut that shit up, right? Everything is sewn back together, and they completely removed any trace of what could be seen as a cut underneath the stitching. And to quote Mandy, it just looks like fucking Roman numerals just stitched in. Like there's just no damage on the suit or no cuts or anything. It's just stitching, and it just looks weird to me. Viking Harrison says, cannot disagree with you on. I will learn to read one day, everyone. Sorry. Cannot disagree with you on this, man. They absolutely need to drop Catwoman before anything else. Yeah, Harrison, like I said, I think it would be disingenuous to start taking more NRDs. I think if Jazz Inc. are going to drop any more POs, I truly feel like they should be refundable deposits. I feel like you should be able to I think there should be a line and just say, we understand as a company, we've not released a 1/6 figure yet. If we release Catwoman and you don't like our end result, we will give you back your refundable. We'll give you back your deposit on your Alicia Silverstone or Poison Ivy. I think that should be a thing, 100%. Didn't they do the previous Joker that was of similar quality? I don't know which you mean there. To be fair, I can't judge on Catwoman until release yet. No, 100%. Either way, it'll make or break them. Dr. No, I completely agree with you. I think that it's make or break. I think a lot of people, if the Catwoman turns out horribly, which I don't think it'd be horrible, I think that's a very strong word. If it turns out much different to what's been presented in the past, I think a lot of people will cancel. And like I say, it's going to set the community on fire for a week or so, and not in a good way. Yeah, sorry, I got confused there. So let's stop this poll. I forgot that I had it here. So yeah, if you voted for Brown, womp womp. Sorry, it's not your day today. It's definitely a blue day. Oh, David, I have some news. My friend is going to the InArt, even though there's rumors of a Heath Ledger 2.0. I have some news. My friend is going to the InArt, even there is rumors of a Heath Ledger. Oh, there's rumors of a Heath Ledger. Oh, event. Sorry. Yeah, I should have really picked up on that. Yes, that would be very cool. I'm sort of out on the Heath Ledger Jokers now. I would be tempted by another bloody InArt though. I've obviously got the J&Ds here. I've got the J&D Bank Robber Joker on pre-order. Sorry guys, my hay fever's kicking in. You can see the nose has gone a little bit red there, hasn't it? Maybe I need to turn down. I need to pretty myself up for you lovely people, and I'm going to turn down the saturation a little bit. But you can tell it's hot here. I'm definitely redder than I would usually be. See, this is the thing, Paul. The Wonder Woman pre-order starts on Thursday. You've not even proven what you can deliver yet. I just see that as so. It's not malicious. I know it's not malicious, but I just see it as so shady. Prove what you can do, and then put another pre-order up. You've already got 2 pre-orders up, Catwoman and Penguin. Deliver at least one before you start taking people's money and then saying it's a non-refundable deposit. Fart for you, Jazz Inc. No, bad. You know, with the spray bottle. No, stop it. Hi, new watcher. Love you. Thank you so much. Just some bum. I love that. It rolls off the tongue quite nicely. I agree. I have their 99 Batman bill and I like it, but I would like to buy the Catwoman from Jazz Inc. But I'm worried because I don't like the photos that they showed. Yeah, I agree with you. I pre-ordered the Penguin and Standard Catwoman from Jazz Inc. I'm hopeful they turn out good, just because his standards are really could, and it will kill the company if the Catwoman turns out just okay. I don't think it would kill the company. I think they still do very well on their vehicles, and that's where their expertise lies at the moment. Yeah, it's just hitting me now. Just as I'm on live, my nose is like horrifically itchy, and if you guys suffer with hay fever, you'll know you're sort of, especially in the summer, you're sweating, so you need the window open, but then you have the window open, then you start dying. So you know you can't really win. More concerned about quality control from Jazz Inc. I mean, it is their first, and we saw from InArt back in the day their quality control was turd. Yeah, I think that being said, one thing I will say about Jazz Inc., and I've heard the story shared many a time, their customer service is top notch. I have heard that. So if you do have any issues, I'm very confident that they will sort anything out for you. It's very hot, very hot. The thing that sucks is these Jazz Inc. pre-orders have a small window. Yes, indeed. It's like get the money in through the door before the one's released. I don't like it. So it doesn't sit right. So if we wait, then we'll have to go to the secondary market to get one. So I agree, he needs to get Catwoman out first. Yes, I agree. Poison Ivy looks like Marilyn Manson. Goodness gracious, I didn't see that. I'm not going to look at the picture because I don't want to see that. How very terrifying. Very terrifying. Guys, guys, I rattled on about Jazz Inc. Apologies. I apologize. Hit the like button if you haven't already. I would very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. Guys. Now, let's get in to the meat and potatoes of the stream. Okay. Welcome, fucking Pennywise. Penny fucking Wise. I know that's not his name, but that's what we're calling him today. Where are we? Let's give Pennywise an applause. Now, this figure has been controversial. It's been very. I'm sweating. I'm sweating. And then I can hear Dean now going. It's like, what is it here? What is the temperature? I need to know. I need to know. Goodness gracious me! It's 19 degrees, which the majority of you is absolutely feckle. But I'm sweating. I'm a pasty-skinned Englishman, and I don't want this heat. This is good. I'm going to address this before we get to Pennywise, and even though I'm very excited. His business motto of having YouTubers and people dictating what to make and what to release is horrible. Okay. He needs to be a smart businessman and just make what he wants and release it. Okay. That's fair. That's fair. I've not seen that. I think there's one thing I will say is he does go on a lot of streams, and I'm not calling out any YouTubers or anything like that. But I think the community that's been built around Jazz Inc., I think the friend of the community thing with Yoast does do a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to not being criticized in the Facebook groups and bits like that, you know. Anyway, Pennywise. Pennywise. Right. This has been controversial. It's been controversial. Big time. So this is very nuanced, this conversation, you know. And David, I mean, in all fairness, I've got a very red nose. So I can't disagree with you there. But Harrison's feeling it as well. Another pasty skinned Englishman is not happy with the heat. But Pennywise, wait a minute, we've got this here. What one should I do, guys? Pennywise. There we go. Let's introduce him properly. It just looks incredible. It just looks incredible. Now, controversial. Why has it been controversial? We've seen it in the groups. The first thing that a lot of people have said, this should be rooted. Now, I agree to a degree. We have come to see InArt as that company, when it makes sense to do so, to offer us a rooted variant of their figures. And what they've done historically is offer us an option. When we see like Aragorn, side note, the sculpted Aragorn is horrendous. I just want to say that. It's like noodle hair, terrible. And we saw that with the Patterson Batman. And I can't think of any other examples off the top of my head. Sorry. We've seen that historically. I think the reason they didn't go rooted on this one is multifaceted here. I think, firstly, they are able to recreate the hairstyle much better in sculpted. I don't think any of us can argue that. I said earlier, as much as I love my rooted Pennywise, and where it does really stand out with the realism, and I completely agree with anyone that's going to say it's more realistic. I'm 100% behind you, and I back that opinion 1,000%, and I'll die on that hill with you. One thing I will say is that this style of hair is much harder to get with rooted hair. It is just simply like that. And you know, these two, as much as I like them, it is just a lump of hair. It's rooted, it looks fantastic, but it might as well be sculpted to a certain degree. So there's that. Very hard to do that in rooted. Like I said earlier, I think the thing is they could do it. I mean, they could fly to the moon if they had a rocket, right? They could do it. I know that's a horrible analogy, but that's the one you're getting. The problem is is you could do this. You could send this off to the likes of Tetsu, and he could perfectly even replicate this for you, 1000%. But it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you, right? And I feel like the second reason InArt didn't do this is they're trying to simplify their offerings, and that's not necessarily to say that they're trying to skimp and scrounge and save and give you less. It's just to say that trying to deliver these Pennywise with rooted hair with this style it's difficult. I think we can appreciate that, right? I wouldn't want to try rooting a head sculpt. I certainly wouldn't want to try doing this. There's been times where I've messed up Aragorn's hair and struggled to get it back to the way it was. Like it's an art form, and this is a production line piece. And I think that's what we forget when we see the amazing end result that we get sometimes, like Gandalf, Aragorn, Legolas. I'm just rattling off Lord of the Rings tonight, I've noticed. But when you see these amazing things, it's we forget that this is just a production line with ordinary people like us that are skilled in these areas, right? So I don't think it's InArt trying to skimp. I know a lot of people disagree with that, and that's fine. But it is just that I truly believe it's to simplify their offerings. And you know better than anyone now, I will give InArt shit. I will give anyone shit where I think it's due. But I don't think it's due here. Their first Pennywise sold horribly. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it as well, right? They saw the hype. They must have seen the hype. For any person that doesn't think that InArt workers, anyone involved with the InArt crew isn't in the groups eyeballing what we're saying, you're wrong. Come on, let's be realistic. So, they've probably seen the hype for Welcome to Derry. They're trying to capitalize on it. And I think this is a fantastic offering. As Ryan says, looking forward to this. Looks great. I hope they start doing more horror character. Dude, I would love Krueger. You got to be joking me. Can you imagine a Freddy Krueger die-cast glove? That would be that'd be a good day. That'd be a good day. Aircon, yeah, but it's only, dude, it's a new name. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, Aircon, but we get like a week a year, dude. So it's very expensive just for a week. But I think in every other way, this is an upgrade from the original. I know they said about the body and all that sort of stuff. I don't put much stock in that. I think the body was good from the original. I think someone said to me, and I see it now, they've used the original Joker body for the Pennywise because it has the, where you could take the forearms off, like the sculpted plastic ones, and then put the seamless in. It's got that system on it, which makes no sense for Pennywise. So the body on the original was no slouch. The sculpt on the original, I know a lot of people aren't a fan of it. That's also no slouch, in my opinion. But this one is an upgrade. This is an upgrade in every way, apart from the routing. Apart from the routing, this is an upgrade. And I was skeptical at first, but it is. It is. And I love that original release, and it will always have a place in my collection. But fuck you, I'm picking this one up as well. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for this, and it just looks absolutely phenomenal. So I also think that this is potentially, we heard from InArt specifically back in the day that they visit a character, they move on, and that's their representation done for, right? They've thrown their hat in the ring and they move on and do something else. I do think this is sculpted also to maybe not tread on the toes of people that own the original. That's just purely me speculating, but there could be a degree of that as well because they're aware of the fandom and they know how collectors are. Yeah, I think otherwise, guys, there's not really much to be sad about on this release. If you missed out on the first one, I understand, and I hope that it brings the price down if you do want to pick up the rooted. And I think it will. I do think it will bring down the price. But the bloody sculpt. Come on now. God's sake, David can only turn into Will Fox Vacation, who also really likes Pennywise. So a snake eating its tail. That's fair. I can't argue with that one. Every live stream InArt is on. Adam Doom, I don't think I've seen that name before, so welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining me. Johnny makes it a point to say rooting hair is extremely hard and takes a long time. Not surprised some of their recent figures are sculpted instead. And a lot of people are saying, well, what's the point of InArt then, right? Because they were rooted, now they're sculpted. Come on. Be reasonable. As much as Hot Toys release bangers every so often, InArt's sculpts are consistently better than anything Hot Toys produces. The quality, the tailoring, everything is better than Hot Toys, and I'll die on that hill as well. Makes sense for them to go sculpted if they want this out quickly. God, I hope so. I could do with a new figure soon. I do wish they had a rooted option though. Yeah, I think that would be fair. And I think what would have been even better, to your point, is to do a wider release on the sculpted, and maybe say we're doing 800 rooted, and you know that would have been cool. Would have been an absolute bloodbath trying to get hold of it. But yeah, absolutely right. In these troubling economic times, have to be grateful to get awesome releases from great companies. Yes, of course we do. Of course we do. Dave, number 77, hit that like button, people. Thank you so much, Dave. Some production decisions have to be made, no doubt, but I still believe InArt is scaling back from their original offerings. Yes, no, there is a degree of that. There is a degree of that, 100%. But let's go through this. I mean, the sculpt, all the other criticisms aside, flipping heck. I mean, it's just great. Yes, you know what, Earth 616, I would 1000% agree with you on this one. This sculpted hair is better than what we've seen from InArt in the past. Some of their hair has been atrocious. The Batman, the sculpted hair was painfully bad. Aragorn, I can't defend it. I cannot defend it in any way, shape, or form, right? I can't. So this looks better. It's still not perfect. I think it's getting there, though. I think it's fair to say it's getting there. I think this looks really good. So I'm hoping that they've gone back to the drawing board and they've, you know, tried to nail this. I think this area looks a bit heavy. Like I would have liked to see that look a little bit fairer, if that makes any sense. Not so blocky, I think is the word I'm looking for here. But I think it looks really good. I think it does look really good. It's much better than their previous offerings, most certainly. I mean, it's just great. It's just great. Figure it out. I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. And let's move on quickly to let's stop this one. Oh, bugger it. Is that here as well? No, that wasn't on this set of pictures. That's good. That's good. So we've got another set of pictures, which goes lovely with Figure It Out's point here. So we get the two head sculpts. We know that already, right? UV eyes, Hot Toys, InArt, any other company considering doing this, fuck off. So I can't put it any more bluntly than that. It is such a useless feature. You know, for many, many years, it's like, right, keep your collectibles away from UV light. Wait a minute, buy a UV torch and shine. You're not going to keep a UV torch next to your Pennywise so you can go up to it and go, oh, look, it's done. No, stop that. Stop that. If you can say, so if this figure was 350, right, and you could take out the UV feature, it's a very Dr. Evil, isn't it? Feature. If you could take out the UV feature and shave just even $1 off of this offering, I'm in. Get rid of it. It's pointless. None of us use it. Well, probably if you so happen to have a UV torch or a money checker handy, you might go, oh yeah, look, definitely. And then it go on your shelf and you never do it again. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. It's ridiculous. Interchangeable collar to go with the bloody sculpt, which makes total sense. Improved body, who cares? The tailoring, I would agree, the tailoring on this one does look superior to the original release. That being said, the original release is still chef kiss as far as tailoring is concerned. Now, let's get back to, and I loved this adult notice. It's like, yeah, I'm okay, no shit. Now, there's my question to you, right? And Dr. No, yeah, I agree with you. I would like to see this in neutral light as well. Here's my question to all of you. For anyone that says that they're dialing back, etc., we've got Pennywise front and center. We've got an additional head sculpt. We've got a balloon, because you can't have a Pennywise without the balloon, because that would be absurd. We've also got a bloody wait a minute. We've also got a bloody collar. We've got I can't remember what that thing's called, but the things that the kids, you know, kill him with. The hatchet, fantastic, a set of hands, the base, and a grabber of some description, which is interesting because that looks like that grabber plugs into the back. Interesting. Interesting. We'll revisit that in a second. Why would you need that to plug into the back? So it must be because I remember the original Pennywise has Velcro on the back, so you could undo it like they did with the Superman. You can unzip him. You can unzip your Superman. But why? Why is it not a crotch grabber? Okay, we'll come back to that. But my question for you, if you're not happy with this offering, what is missing? Because it's easy to say that, oh, they've not given us many accessories, but what is missing? Dub Toys, yes, I did notice that. Someone said it's the same sculpt from a different angle, but I disagree. There's definitely a closed mouth sculpt bloody, a slightly open mouth sculpt bloody, and then, of course, the one on the left-hand side here. So it looks like we are just getting the two. This is 400 US. Yeah, no, I know it's a bit of pill to swallow for a lot of people, but at the same time, what are Hot Toys now? Hot Toys are getting to the 300 range, and I would say that InArt are just superior in quality in a lot of ways. But what's missing? A lot of people have come back to me and say diorama base from the first release. I completely agree. It would have been nice to see a diorama base. However, they seem to be dialing those back. The magnetic bases as well are gone, which is a shame. I hope they revisit it, but then we're all going to have, like, especially if you're a Lord of the Rings collector, we're going to have some pieces with magnetic bases and some without, which is just a pain in the ass and really annoying. And they can't exactly fix it because the figures that have been released subsequently without the magnetic base don't have magnets in the feet either. So you're a bit up the creek with that one. The price is exactly spot on. Actually, no, wait, whoa. This is wait a minute. Yeah, this is 400 through kit. This is 349 through InArt. I can't remember if that, I think, does that include shipping? Probably not. So yeah, around 400. This price is exactly spot on, minus $1 with a BVS Batman from a few years ago. 2 head sculpts, a similar amount of accessories. Kit sold that for $399. Okay, that's a very good point. Nancy Harris says, I agree. Get rid of the UV lights on the eyes and go to magnetic bases. Good and magnetic eyes improve it. Yeah, I mean, the magnetic eyes, Natalie, I agree with you. When we've got stuff like Snape, where I don't want to be pulling off the back of the head with the rooted hair, right? But for this sort of stuff, for the original Pennywise as well, the neck and the head are separate, so popping that off isn't too. Agree, it's not too difficult. So I think that's okay. I think that's okay when they don't have the magnets, but I'd like to see them offer that still. I think what InArt have done as of late, like with the magnetic bases and the magnetic eyes, is instead of getting feedback and going, right, okay, taking that on board, let's go and perfect it. They've gone, oh, we've taken it, but people aren't happy, right? Let's just get rid of it. And that's not the way to do things. That's not the way to do things. I don't know what I said, Dub Toys, but thank you very much. Yeah, the sculpts, and there's no reuse up in this biznatch. Maybe the hands and the balloon, but there's no other reuse here at all. Maybe the creepy baby bat hybrid for an accessory. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. And this is the thing, and this is what I find interesting, Adam, is that depending on who you ask, you're always going to get a different answer. So for me, I don't really have anything sprawled across my display. I've got the I can't show you really, but I've got the top half of the diorama from the original release, one of 2 of them that I have, double side tape to the back of the Beleden, so it's above pen. So there's the curtains and stuff. It just looks nice. So I'm a fan of that sort of stuff, but I don't really have anything else knocking about, so I wouldn't have used that. So for me, this is enough. I might have him holding the balloon, probably not, because I've got the original holding the balloon. I might have him holding the hatchet. This one is going to be, for me anyway, bloody collar, bloody sculpt, like peering over his shoulder. If I can perfect that, that would look atrociously disgusting in the display. One Angry Hermit, magnetic bases, magnetic rolling eyes, diorama bases, etc. Those things are more so than accessories, though. Yeah, no, but this, yeah. So the bases is a huge thing for people, and I agree. You know, when a figure calls for a more flamboyant, if you will, diorama display, I completely agree with you. They should offer it 100%. I think there would be something to be said, and maybe upping the effort somewhat and offering different SKUs, right? So you could say, for instance, you could have this Pennywise, or this is a bad example for this one, or you could have a base where there's blood and body parts everywhere, right? And maybe a clown, maybe the stage from the school. No, because he was bloody then, wasn't he? At some point in the series, I'm sure there was a background that would have been suitable as a diorama base for this figure, right? So maybe your InArt should offer both options. People that, for me, well, I probably would order the diorama, to be fair, but I don't really use bases, so I wouldn't care as much. But for someone that is just like, I need that diorama base for my collection, I think they should offer both. I would agree on that one. It is. This is gonna, and the bloody one as well. Oh my god. I think the bloody version will come with a lot more. I would tend to agree with you. Yes. So I think we can agree potentially there's some people that would have liked a few more accessories here and there. This is the thing though, guys, and we need to remember, right, when these things are released or announced, it's not directly aimed at me, right? It's not, oh, David will like this, right? It's for a broad audience. And the reality is in life, I'm sure if you're watching this and you're over 18, you'll know you can please some of the people some of the time, and that's just the way it is, right? That is just the way it is. So I think they've put their best foot forward with this release. Criticisms aside, although well founded as they may be, I think it's still going to be an absolute banger, and I cannot wait to get it in my collection, quite frankly. So let's get on to the last but not least. Let's go to here we go. Yes, bloody Pennywise. So one thing I was saying a second ago, which I don't think is going to be right, but I'm intrigued. So I pointed out that the style of, not for the flight pole for Pennywise, it clearly plugs into the back of Pennywise and it's not a crotch grabber. I'm thinking, why, to myself? Why is it like that? And then I thought maybe it's for this one so you can have it flying, and they've just reused it. So you heard it here first. I'm going to say that they're going to use the same system on this Pennywise to help it fly. You're going to get the wings. And I think it remains to be seen. Unless InArt can do something really, really clever with this, I don't see this being swap out. I hope it is. It would be really cool if it is. But obviously, if you've watched it, if you've watched Welcome to Derry, if you've not seen it yet, I'm sorry, spoilers ahead. Tune out if you don't want any spoilers. He turns into some big chicken motherfucker, chicken-wise, at the end of this, and flies along. And he's got these massive hawk bloody claws to grab those pesky children. And so you can see, Adam Doom, you can see the is it, I don't know if it's a spider, it's more a chicken. I would have said chicken, but fine. But it will be a wild figure. It'll be the wildest figure we've seen in a long time from any company, I think it'd be fair to say. So a lot of people, if this is swap out parts, that would be really impressive. I don't think that's plausible, because I thought when I was thinking about this last night that the wings were on his back, and that's where I was going with that style of grabber that they're giving us. I thought that's what they were going to do, but that's not the case. The wings are his arms in the show, and I've got a picture of this which I'll share in a second. But this is going to be disgusting. And Bailey says, will this be a 2-pack or just the wing version? It's interesting. Yeah. Will they make a full back Pennywise? You know what? And again, it's the please some of the people some of the time. I would hope, as a huge Pennywise fan and someone that's willing to drop the money on Pennywise, one thing I need, if this base doesn't come with this figure, I'm going to be rioting with you. Okay, I'm going to be rioting with you. I'm going to take the fight to InArt with pitchforks and flame torches. You can all come with me. I need this base. I don't know what the whole thing is yet, but it looks disgusting and I want it in my life. I think this is going to go one of two ways. There's only two ways this can go. Maybe the third is a complete edge case, which I just don't see happening. But that being said, option one, this is just the winged Pennywise, which I wouldn't be too sad about. Would I? I'd be a little bit disappointed, and I'll tell you why in number two. At number two. the winged Pennywise with this base, it would look awesome. Second option, I believe this will be a 2-pack. I think you're going to get multiple head sculpts, and you're going to get chicken Pennywise, and you're going to get full bloody Pennywise, which a lot of people want. And the reason I think that I'm leaning more towards the option 2 is because this is fucking awesome and we need this. Secondly, so many people want that full bloody normal version. And if you think that InArt aren't looking at this feedback in groups and they're watching you without you knowing, then you're a fool, quite frankly. What was the third option? I don't think there was a third option. Did I lie? I think I did lie. I mean, the third option, they could just release just a bloody standard one, and this is just a bit of a big old ruse. But I don't see that happening. I think what do I put my money on? If this was swap out parts and one figure, that would be an incredible feat of engineering, which I don't think is possible based on the look from the show. What if the full bloody version is the regular and the full bat Pennywise is the deluxe? I tell you what, I was just thinking this. So if they offered, depends which way they do it around. If they offered a full bloody Pennywise as a single pack, and then for the deluxe was a double pack with the chicken, I think that would be cool. And you know, and I know, and everyone else knows that I would buy it regardless. I would buy it. Any Pennywise that InArt releases is coming home, right? So that's fine. Dave think it's going to have swap out parts. I'm interested to see. What would be really, really shitty, what would be really bad, is if they release this chicken cluck cluck as the standard, and then they hide the full bloody normal Pennywise behind the double pack. That would be sneaky. And InArt, I will call you out for that. Not that you care, but I would call you out for that. I would very much call you out for that. That would be really bad. I hope that's not the case, but we shall see. It remains to be seen, right? And I think regardless, Pennywise fans, InArt fans are eating well at the moment. I do think they're eating very well. Yeah, Bailey, dude, we're suckers either way, right? We're going to drop that hard-earned money on it. And I'm very excited. So let me quickly show you before we wrap up this talk. Which one is it? Which one is it? So this is, oh, share it, you plonker. So this is what I'm saying here, right? And these are the two looks that everyone wants. Yeah, this is the thing. How much would it cost? Like the Reeve 2-pack wasn't too bad, but that's not a big fuck off chicken, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. These are the two looks people want. I think it would be fair to, well, actually, I wouldn't say people want the one on the right hand side. I think that'd be fair to say that people don't want that one. They want the one on the left, which I understand. It's an incredibly cool look, and I really want it. And yes, they hid Clark Kent behind a 2-pack paywall. I don't, yeah. But no one was going, I need the Clark Kent, right? They needed the Superman. So they gave Superman, yeah. It's sort of like, to me, if the main event, which of course is Superman for that 2-pack, is the standard, and then the deluxe, you get a figure that the niche few are going to want, but not everyone's going to want, and they can still get the Superman cheaper, then that's a win for everyone. I feel like if you offered the chicken and then hid the one that everyone actually wants behind that double pack, that's a bit shitty, and I would call that out. Yeah, maybe this is going to be swap out parts. It could well be like you could completely undress him at the top if you wanted to. It's still a suspect, apparently. If you want to undress your figures, that's down to you, right? I can't see what to do with your dollars. They could go that way. I'm leaning more towards a double pack. I want to believe that it's a single pack for my wallet's sake, but I do believe it's going to be a double pack at this point in time. You know, other people have said it, and it's started to bring me around to that way of thinking. But let me share blah, 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 blah. A little bit of a tune while I'm doing this. I've got this open twice for some reason. I have no idea why. So this is full chicken mode. So we can see here that if they did do that full chicken, That would look incredibly cool. That's going to need some space, though. That's going to need some damn space. But this would look absolutely phenomenal. And I think for me, this would, I would have to have, it'd be so cool. I could have my 2 original Pennywise in their current positions. I like the way they are at the moment. I've got one just holding the balloon, iconic. I've got one all contorted on the floor with that monster teeth sculpt, like in the film. I'd have the standard one that they've released with the bloody collar, like sitting down, maybe cross-legged, like looking over his shoulder with all the blood and then I'd have the chicken behind all of them, and then the bloody one, hopefully, InArt, hopefully on that amazing diorama base you've teased us, surrounded by all the blood and guts and just fucking covered head to toe. That would be great. But Iron Vengeance says, I would hate swappable parts. I don't want to undress and remove the suit or arms. Yeah, I get that. I get that. I won't want to do that. Dude, this would be a centerpiece. This will be a centerpiece. I completely agree with you. This would be absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Guys, that's the last topic for tonight. I kept it light. I've still managed to steal 2 hours of your time, so apologies. I know what's going to come. We did have one more topic, but I'm not going to tackle that tonight because, quite frankly, one of my favourite sayings, I'm sitting here and I'm sweating like a glass blower's arse. I'm very, very warm, very warm. So I'm going to head it up to a quick Q&A. If you guys have got any questions for me, I know what the questions are going to come. Agreed. This will be insane. I know what questions are going to come. I'm not going to answer any in too much depth if that one does come up, but you're more than welcome to ask it anyway. Any questions for me, let me know. What have I got coming up? I was on the Will Foxification show last night. For any of you that know me, that was huge. And I really want to thank Will for having me on. It was such a good time. Hey dude, rewind. I'm just wrapping up, so rewind and watch on the replay. But welcome. I've not seen your name before, so I hope you're well, and welcome to the stream. Mandy, at the moment, as most of us will know, if you've ever traveled, there's always some bugger on the plane with the poxy lurgy. The lurgy being a sickness or an illness. She is under the weather today, unfortunately. She was sitting next to a guy on the plane, she was telling me, that was just hocking up phlegm and like spitting in a cup, which is disgusting, by the way. So wouldn't surprise me if it's his fault. But yeah, she is very much under the weather. They also put that smiling head sculpt in the 2-pack. Yeah, dude, no, I agree with that because a lot of people wanted that smiling head sculpt. And Dr. No, thank you very much. But what have I got coming up? I've not got any figures coming in at the moment. I'm on a bit of a drought. The next one for me will probably be Smooth Criminal, and I'm intrigued to get that in hand because we know my sentiments on those wrist joints. I mean, they're just disgusting, aren't they? But I'm willing to give it a chance because I think apart from that, it's a 9.5, maybe a 9 out of 10, that figure. And it does look the shots that I've seen online of the head sculpt just look absolutely stupendous. So I'm looking forward to that. I've not got really much else going on. I'm hoping every time I stream that same damn motorbike drives past. Stupid exhaust. What else have I got? I've got no figures, dudes. I've not got no figures coming in. One thing I am trying to do, I'm trying to catch up with Dean on the One Piece series. Like, that's impossible. That guy is a machine. He's on like 270 odd now. I'm never picking up. I'm never catching up with Dean now. One thing, where am I going? I'm going the wrong way. One thing I have done. You can see the Hoover, you lucky sods. I've been getting into 1/12. And the ship on the left hand side there, I printed that. It's not quite finished yet, but I'm big into my 3D printing, and I've got the whole One Piece crew there in SH Figure Arts. So I've got into that as well. So I'm supplementing the lack of 1/6 coming in with other things to explore and spend money on, effectively. So I'm just addicted to spending money. I think that's what we're getting at. What would be the license you'd want to see InArt get the most? Let's be selfish here. I would say One Piece at this point because that's a new fandom of mine and I'm very excited about it, as you saw earlier. But Pixel Poses, I believe, is going to be the InArt of anime stuff, so I'll leave that with them. You know what? I don't own any Star Wars anymore. The only Star Wars that I have left is my animated Boba Fett, because that, as you guys probably know, is a bit of a rarity, that figure. So I wasn't willing to let that go. I do love my Boba Fett. So yeah, I think Star Wars. I know it's a pipe dream. That's very much pie in the sky answer. So apologies. I don't even think that's ever going to be possible. But that would be if I had a wish, and that would make a lot of people happy, which is great. Great show tonight, even though you were flying so late. Thank you so much, Hermit. That means a lot. Thank you so much. Lane, yes, 100%. I've got the Corin Sweat on order, and I'm hoping that he comes in soon because I'm pretty sure he's late. I'm pretty sure he was Q2. Is it Q1, Q2, 2026? InArt. What the shit, dudes? Because whenever you actually release it, it's going to take at least another month or so for me to get it, if not a little bit longer. So please release it. But yes, to answer your question, definitely, I'm definitely interested in. I'm going to be picking up the Supergirl. That's the long and short of it. I know a lot of people aren't a fan. I know some people aren't a fan of the actress. If you're one of those people that goes after her looks on the internet, have a word with yourself. Don't do that. Silliness, very petulant. But I love, and I know there's obviously been comics in the past and stuff like that, but for people like me that aren't really that into comics, Superman's always been quite clean cut, right? And I love the Supergirl, the way that's going. And obviously it's probably the same in the comics as well, but I've never read them. She's a fucking degenerate, right? And I love that. I love it's not like a clean character that's got that chest emblem. Like, I love that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be picking that one up. And if it comes with another crypto, I'm all in, balls to the wall, because that little fucker, I love him. I love him to bits. Any dog is good by me. And I really want, if InArt ever watch my stream, they won't, but they might. InArt, if you're watching this, give us, dogs, for people that love dogs, you'll appreciate this. Dogs, when they're being really naughty, they'll like zip around a little bit and then put their paws, like they'll like get really low to the floor with their chest and stick their ass in the air and wag their tail. I need that. Give me fucking that. That's what I want. I want him in the display being really naughty. Which a lot of people, when I say, they're like, what the fuck? Like, I need it. Bailey, great stream as always. Good job, and thank you very much, Bailey. I appreciate you, my friend. Lane, yes, this right here, this is the 16J kit. It's the InArt sword with his flame on it, and this is his kit for the Witch King, and it is divine. It is divine. It's a little bit pricier than the 3D printed ones. Granted, it is full on die cast. I can never remember the bloody name of his flail. The Morning Star. The Morning Star, you have to see it to believe it, quite frankly. I mean, go and look at pictures online. You can go check out his website. It's 16j.com, I think it is, or just Google him. It's impeccable. It's impeccable. What would you say is the single best InArt figure Thorin? Did you give me a question and the answer at the same time there? The best InArt figure. Wow. Please hold caller. You know what? I think that's actually easier. I would say, where are we? This guy here. That the dancing bathroom scene Joker, I think, is one of their best piece that they've done so far. And they've had some bangers. But that I don't know, is it their best figure to just objectively look at, right? Maybe not. This captures something. You can't put it into words. It captures something. It captures an essence, and it is just yeah. Angry Hermit, after work now, dude. Unlucky. We'll give oh hello. We'll give work a boo. No one likes work, but Hope it isn't too painful for you. Love to yourself, my friend, as well. Do you like dags? Yeah, it wasn't wasted on me, Dub Toys. Thank you. My pooches do that, David. Good solo stream. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate you. Do you know, what is it? Do you know what nemesis means? A righteous infliction, a retribution manifested by an appropriate agent. In this case, an honorable me. I forgot that I could censor myself. Yeah, but we need that. We need that. And I remember, like, they sold Crypto, and he was so bloody gorgeous. I love him, and his little broken ear all the time. He's fantastic. And I remember I never found the video again, but I was scrolling through YouTube Shorts one day, like just before the film came out, the original Superman, and there was a video of him like sleeping somewhere in the Fortress of Solitude, and he just like, he was snoozing, and he sort of rolled and fell off a ledge, and he just like hovered and slept. And I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much. I'm sat at my door every day waiting for my MJ. Need that in my cabinet, dude. I'm so excited for that Smooth Criminal. It is going to be, it's going to be, you know, incredible. Awesome recollection, David. Thank you. Oh, Dealey Biscuit, thank you so much. Yeah, the Will show. I'm glad it was well received. Because that was a big thing. And I know, you know, I think when you understand, right, I'm massively into this, and I fucking love you all. Like, you're sitting here watching me talk shit, relevant shit, but shit nonetheless, right? Just waffle for the most part. And I give you some farts and stuff like that. But the reality is, like, Will got me into this, and you know, people can go, "Oh, you're a fanboy" and all this sort of stuff. That's great, and you know, it's not entirely untrue, but at the same time, I think you always, the people that got you into this, the thing that you love the most. I just got in trouble with my other half without realizing it. That's great. The hobby that you love the most. Let's reword it. They got you into this area of it, and I've met so many awesome people. I've got like 62 of you here now watching me, leaving lovely comments, and it means so much to me. And he started that for me, so I'm always going to hold him, not like in a weird fangirl way, but hold him to a certain esteem. And with Dean as well, and Natalie G. I fucking love Natalie G. So all of those people that got me into this and inspired me to start this, I'm always going to hold them, like I say, to a certain esteem, because you know they help me and help me get inspired, right? And we started this shill thing as me, Matt, and Mandy. Matt has decided to move on, which is very sad. Mandy's very ill at the moment, but the reality is, it's all good. It's all good. The show must go on, and my thing is that I want to not only put on a good show for you people, even if I'm sweating my nads off sitting in this south-facing office. I want to give you guys a good show, and the show must always go on, and I don't want to let you guys down. So that's why I'm still here. I've not done a solo stream since I did a YouTube channel many moons ago, before the 6 scale, before I even did 6 scale collecting. So yeah, that's kind. That's kind. I hope it's not sarcasm, but that's kind of you. It's true. Very well said, David. Another great show as always. Thank you, Harrison. I appreciate you. Natalie, I agree with you. I would just change that like to a love. I agree. I agree. You're doing a great show, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you so much, Dr. No. Lane, take care of yourselves well, my friend. Guys, thank you for all your questions. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's been an amazing stream, and I appreciate all of you very much. So give yourself a round of applause, because without you, this wouldn't be possible, and it wouldn't be as amazing without you. So thank you all so much. All of that said, I will hopefully make some videos this week. Will I get on Michael Jackson? I don't know. I'm going to sit on the floor with my legs crossed like a kid at Christmas and open it for you, though. So hopefully that happens. If not me, for you, you know, if you care. Definitely we'll see you all again next Saturday. So until then, take it easy. Take care of yourself. Collect what you love, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. See you later, guys. Bye. Thank you for watching another instalment of the Shillstream. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you all again next week. Until then, keep it shill. As you